So you are encouraging us to doubt, not to trust. Somehow.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
But doubt our own experience. Somehow.
Doubt everything.
Okay.
There is no reason why you should trust anything. It blocks you. Because then you are projecting a definition and you want that to be true, and you have like, I know this will be true. Like, you're trying to control the world, which means you're blocking your own learning. And when life shows you it's not how it works, then you allow yourself to become victimized by that. It's completely stupid.
I think trust and surrender are two words that we often kind of mix. I think a lot of times when we talk about trust and spirituality, we actually mean surrender.
Yes.
Probably, or at least should mean it, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also important how we use words and what type of thoughts we have, right? Because a word also comes with a history of thought, right? So when we use a word, it's also how has it been used, and that will also carry, that energy and vibration, and will influence our understanding. So trust is something we all have to grow out of.
So that makes sense, because trust, the way you usually use that word is that I trust that you are going to behave according to my expectations. Yes. And that's, I guess that brings with it kind of the wrong intention if you're talking about spirituality.
Yes, because we do this in relationships too, which to me is very funny, right? People feel the need to trust each other in a relationship. And I say, like, a spiritual relationship can only function when there's absolutely no trust. We have to embrace and accept, because trust means I want you to behave a certain way, right? I want to control you when I'm not there. And if you behave any other way, I'm a victim. Now, everybody will behave as themselves. They will behave based on their consciousness, their karma, their exact point of evolution. And that's their journey, that's their expression. It's not up to anyone to control that, to be victimized by someone doing what they need to do in order to learn and grow.
Yeah, actually, there was kind of a turning point in my marriage where I sort of turned away from trust towards surrender, and that made a huge difference, actually.
Yes. Because it's being with someone means that you can explore someone who is not you. Trust means you want to turn that other person into you in your own value systems. And it's more fun when you recognize, I'm with this person because it's not me. I get access to a different value system, a different journey, different expression, different logic. And that is wonderful. I should not try to control that. I should celebrate all these expressions that are very different from me, because it gives me the opportunity to then explore my own positions, my own values, right? And that's a lot more interesting.
Trust, at least in a romantic relationship, often comes from the need to be in control somehow.
Yes, of course. It is a power game. It's all it is.
So I've kind of had this philosophy for myself of being somehow a bit naive, and thought of that as being functional. So meeting 100 people, using the word trust there again, but trusting these 100 people, and maybe one of these 100 people will trick me or fool me in some way, but if I meet the same 100 people with doubt and skepticism, then I will have 100 meetings that are where I meet them with my arms crossed somehow.
You're missing the point here. Doubt is not criticism.
Yeah.
Doubt is understanding that there is more than I think. I'm not in control, and I don't have to be. So it's about letting everyone be what they are, because they will be anyway. You don't need to trust it, because they are who they are, and they will behave like themselves, whether you trust it or not. But when you trust them, you increase the chance of you being disappointed. When you remove trust, you can just observe and interact with what is actually there and what is actually happening. And you will find that interesting, and you will be more in the mindset of, I'm responsible, I'm being mirrored. This will be my own process. There's a reason why I was drawn to this interaction. You don't need trust at all. So it's not replacing it with criticism. Doubt is just doubting your thoughts, understanding that there is more. This is not the definitive version. Whatever I feel, that is probably incorrect.
Yeah, so doubt is upon your own experience somehow.
Yes,
You're doubting your own experience. You're not necessarily, yeah, everything is your own experience, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And it's also, for instance, when it comes to trusting people, people will express their karma, right? Their level of consciousness, their pain, and their own need for survival, which means that they will lie and they will cheat and they will manipulate and they will kill and they will steal and they will do all of those things because it's where they are. And they're allowed to do that. They cannot grow out of it until they've grown spiritually. And we can't expect anyone to not behave based on their exact point of evolution. Right? So you don't need to create any story around it. It's just embracing what is. Letting everyone be who they are and where they are. And just like interact with that, with love and understanding and compassion, and also seeing what can I learn from this? How can I contribute to their growth and my growth in this situation? By creating these power games, no matter, also judgment is a power game too. It's completely unproductive spiritually.
So it's somehow a combination of love and doubt.
Absolutely. I would say doubt everything and love everything at the same time.
Yes.
Because doubt is the opposite of believing and defining, because that is what blocks you. Loving means you also practice acceptance. Open yourself to what is there and understanding that there is an exchange and you are responsible. And being in a state of love is also the opposite of judgment, right? Because when you love something or someone, or when you are in a state of love, you don't judge, right? So being in a state of love is always the answer to absolutely everything. But then always doubting your own experience, your own version, your own thoughts. Yes.
So many people would say that a functional society is a large part based on trust. Like, I can walk down the street and then trust that no one's going to kill me and take all my stuff. Or I can spend money at a store and trust that I'll get food in return.
It's actually not based on trust. It's based on agreement. It's based on law. Okay, if you trust that you can walk down the street without being mugged, and you don't trust they can walk down, like, you will have the same outcome. Trust has got nothing to do with it. It's a story in your mind.
But it will definitely affect how I feel about walking down the street.
Right. But that's internal. That's the illusion that you need to create for yourself to feel good. It's got nothing to do with reality.
So would you say that it's actually completely unnecessary for people to have this trust?
Absolutely, yes. Trust is a huge illusion and a huge blockage. But yes, until, you will be there until you grow out of it. Like many different concepts, we discover over time that, this is just me tricking myself. This is just me creating stories. And those stories are blocking me from relating to what is real. This is part of the peeling process. It's unbelievable, everything we have to peel away. We basically have to peel away everything until there's absolutely nothing left. And then you discover what is there. It's just nothing that the self can relate to.
Would you say that this is something that people should do, or is it like you were maybe saying earlier that it's sort of more just inevitable?
It's inevitable. All spiritual unfoldment is inevitable. All flowers will unfold. We are in different levels of consciousness and different stages of growth, and that's fine, right? But we can accelerate our own growth by learning from beings who have figured out certain things about their own growth and trying to practice that. This is also how we'll learn the dance steps, and how to be in harmony with life, is trying to apply that and study it and play around with it, right? And explore. And because everybody in their journeys figure out the exact same things. One can use different words based on different cultures and life forms, but reality is what it is, and it's mathematical precision. It's physics, so absolutely everyone will discover the same reality. So it is inevitable. And we figure out what we need to peel away, not necessarily in the same order, but we all figure out the same principles and the same blockages and the same limitations. And when the yearning for truth and reality becomes strong enough, we can't wait to peel off another layer, right? Because then that becomes the focus on what fills the mind.
That makes sense. You were talking about earlier that this has nothing to do with intellectual understanding. But I feel like this is a pretty intellectual conversation, and the way you teach also is pretty intellectual.
Yes, because it's how humans operate. If I were to just convey vibration, you wouldn't understand anything. So I have to relate to how humans operate, and humans are thinking beings, and their brains are mostly programs looping. So when it comes to understanding, yes, we can use the intellect as a tool to create models and to break down illusions, but it doesn't stop there. So the real spiritual process is not an intellectual one, but we can use the intellect to prepare ourselves to kind of move into the right position. It's just like with yoga. Yoga is not stretching. It's basically getting yourself into positions that then will open your channels. So it's the same thing.
Okay, so that makes sense. So it's a tool, and it has its part to play in the
absolutely. I often talk about the West being too consumed by feelings and emotions, and how that is a complete imbalance. Because feelings and emotion can never lead you to truth. The intellect can also not lead you to truth. But when it comes to understanding more of ourselves, we need to also make use of the intellect. We need to think. We need to create models. We need to explore, and we use the mind for that. So basically, we use the mind to dissolve itself, right? We use the tools that we use to build a house to pull it apart.